All right, let's jump right in. Ready to uncover the secrets of personalized exercise programs? We're doing a deep dive into the SISFFIT043 learner resource today. But this isn't just skimming the surface, oh no. We're going deeper, way deeper.
Deeper.
Yeah, we're talking about those body composition goals,
Mm.
the ones clients are always chasing after. We're going to help you figure out how to design programs that really get them results. And we're not stopping at the how. We're going to explore the why behind everything.
That's the exciting part. It's like unlocking a superpower, understanding the exercise science that drives those transformations.
Exactly. And get this, we're not talking about generic one-size-fits-all plans. We're talking about programs that are truly deeply individualized.
We're looking at everything. I mean, we're considering factors you might not even think of at first, like a client's background, their cultural beliefs about exercise, their past experiences with physical activity. All of that can play a role.
It's amazing how all these seemingly unrelated factors can shape someone's mindset and approach to fitness, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So before we get to those amazing transformations, we have to start with a strong base. It's like building a house, right? You need a solid blueprint.
Couldn't agree more. And that blueprint starts with the client profile. This goes way beyond just asking their favorite color.
Oh, right. What's their favorite exercise?
We need to dive deep into their health history, fitness level, goals, even their lifestyle. It's a complete picture.
Okay, I'm ready to unpack all of this.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin with this deep dive into the client profile?
Well, the very first step is pre-exercise screening. Like using the adult pre-exercise screening system, the APSS.
APSS, yeah.
It helps us identify any potential risk factors, and it helps us figure out if our client needs to get medical clearance before they start an exercise program.
So safety first.
Yeah.
Always got to prioritize that. Then what? Do we jump right into, like, testing their fitness level?
Well, actually, before we jump into fitness assessments, it's important to review their medical history, too.
Oh, okay, so that's the next step.
Yeah, have they had any injuries? Are they managing any health conditions? This information helps us design a program that really meets their specific needs, and we can avoid any exercises that might be, contraindicated.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like checking for any potential roadblocks before you map out the entire route.
Exactly.
Okay, roadblocks checked. What about those fitness assessments?
All right, so now we get to actually measure their fitness level. We're talking about things like cardiovascular endurance, strength, flexibility.
So basically, we're getting a baseline.
Exactly, a baseline. These tests give us that starting point so we can track progress and make adjustments as needed.
Okay, so we've got the safety checks, the baseline measurements. What comes next in building this awesome client profile?
Now we get to the really fun part. We get to know them, like, on a personal level. We want to understand their preferences, what kind of exercise do they enjoy? What are their goals? What are some potential barriers they might face? This is where communication really comes in.
I was just going to ask about that because, you can have the most amazing, scientifically sound program in the world, but if the client isn't motivated or engaged, it's just not going to work. What are some, key things to keep in mind when you're having that initial client consultation?
Well, active listening is super important. It's not just about asking questions. It's about really hearing what they're saying, understanding their motivations, and, building that rapport.
So it's about connection, not just data collection.
Yeah, exactly. And that connection is built on trust and empathy. We want our client to feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, their concerns, knowing that we're there to support them.
So let's get practical for a second. What are some good questions that we can ask during this consultation that go beyond the usual, what are your goals?
Good question. I like to ask things like, what type of physical activities have you enjoyed in the past? Or what motivates you to exercise? What challenges do you think you might run into? Oh, and even something as simple as, what does success look like to you? That can be really insightful.
Oh, that's a good one. So it's about getting a holistic picture, right? It's not just about their BMI.
Speaking of BMI, that's another important measurement we want to take during this profiling stage. It gives us an idea of their weight relative to their height. But we don't want to just stop at BMI. We want to assess body composition, too. We might use methods like skin fold thickness measurements or bioelectrical impedance analysis.
Hold on. Before we go any further, can you break down those body composition assessments? For our listener who might not be familiar with them, we all hear about BMI, but those other methods might be new to some people.
Sure. So skin fold thickness measurements involve, we use calipers to measure the thickness of subcutaneous fat.
So like pinching.
Kind of. We pinch the skin at specific sites on the body, And bioelectrical impedance analysis, BIA for short, sends a weak electrical current through the body to estimate body fat percentage.
Interesting. Okay, so why do we need these extra assessments if we already have BMI?
Good question. BMI doesn't really differentiate between fat mass and muscle mass. Two people could have the same BMI but totally different body compositions.
Right. Yes, that makes sense.
One person might have a ton of muscle and low body fat, while another person might have less muscle and more fat.
Uh-huh. So it's not just about the number on the scale.
Exactly. We're looking at the whole picture.
I'm seeing how crucial this client profile is. We're gathering so much information. Like, this is gold. And it's going to inform the whole program design process, right?
It's the foundation. And the more information we have, the more personalized and effective the program will be. You know, it's like a puzzle, all these pieces coming together.
I love a good puzzle. All right, so we've got the safety checks, those insightful client consultations, body composition analysis, all that good stuff. Once we've gathered all this information, what's next? How do we actually translate this into an exercise program?
That, my friend, is where the magic of exercise science comes in. And that's what we're going to explore next. Are you ready?
Oh, I am so ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork, with that client profile. But now let's bring in the science. This is where we apply those cool exercise principles that actually get results.
Science. It feels like we're about to unlock some kind of, I don't know, secret code to fitness success.
You could say that. These principles are like the fundamental laws of fitness. They tell us how our bodies respond and adapt to exercise over time.
So no more guesswork, right?
Right.
We're taking the guesswork out. Give me that first principle. Hit me with it.
First up, adaptation. It's pretty simple, really. Our bodies are amazingly adaptable. When we challenge them consistently, like with exercise, they change, they improve, they become more efficient at handling that stress.
Okay, so like if I start lifting weights, my muscles eventually get stronger because they're adapting to that heavier workload.
Right, exactly. But it's not just about strength. Adaptation happens on all these different levels: muscular, cardiovascular, even neurological. Like if you do regular cardio, your heart gets better at pumping blood, and that obviously improves your cardiovascular health.
Right, right. Makes sense. So our bodies are always trying to be more efficient. How do we use this adaptation principle? Like how do we design programs that are actually effective?
That's where overload comes in. It's all about pushing the body, gradually increasing the demands to keep those adaptations coming. So if you want to keep getting stronger, you got to lift heavier weights or do more reps. If you want to boost your endurance, you gradually increase your distance or your speed.
So we're constantly pushing our bodies out of their comfort zone to keep getting those positive adaptations.
Yes, but here's the thing. We got to find that balance, that sweet spot between challenge and recovery. Too little overload and we won't see progress. But push too hard and we risk injury or overtraining.
And that highlights why those personalized programs are so important.
Yeah.
Because what works for one person might be way too much or too little for someone else.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the next principle, specificity. Specificity basically reminds us that training should be specific to the desired outcome.
Oh, okay. So if our client wants to run a marathon, we're not going to focus their program on, like, weight training only, are we?
Nope. We'd want to prioritize building their cardiovascular endurance, right? So activities like running, cycling, swimming. If they want to build muscle, then yeah, we'd emphasize resistance training and gradually increase the weight.
I'm seeing how these principles all fit together. Adaptation tells us our bodies change, overload pushes us, and specificity makes sure those challenges match up with our goals. What's next? What else is there?
Now we got to consider the individual. Individualization. This principle tells us cookie cutter programs just don't cut it. We need to personalize those programs. Every single one.
Okay, yeah. This is where all that detailed info we got in the client profile really comes in handy.
Right, absolutely. Age, sex, fitness level, health history, goals, even their lifestyle and schedule. We take it all into account.
Makes a huge difference. I mean, a program for a young athlete is going to look completely different from a program for, say, a senior citizen.
Totally. And even two people with the same age and fitness level might have different limitations or needs.
So true.
Which is why we always evaluate and make adjustments. That's where progression and regression come into play.
I've heard those terms before, progression and regression, but can you explain them like in the context of designing a program?
Sure. So progression basically means we gradually increase the intensity, the volume, or the load. As the client gets stronger and adapts, we might increase the weight, the reps, the sets, or just make the workouts longer.
So it's about that steady climb, always moving forward,
Yeah.
right, towards their goals.
But sometimes we need to take a step back. That's regression. If someone's injured or fatigued or they hit a plateau, we might need to decrease the intensity or the volume just to allow them to recover properly.
Finding that balance again. We want to challenge them, but not too much.
Exactly. Now, are you ready for the grand finale, the big one? It's the FITT principle.
Ooh, the FITT principle. I've seen that, like on workout posters at the gym. Honestly, never really understood it. Can you break it down for us?
Of course. FITT stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. These are the variables we play with to create those personalized plans. Frequency is how often they exercise. Intensity is how hard they're working. Time is, well, the length of the workout. And type is the mode of exercise. Like, is it cardio, strength training, flexible?
Okay, so it's like a recipe. For a workout, we adjust those ingredients based on the person's needs and goals.
I like that. And just like with a recipe, there are tons of variations, endless combinations. Say we have a client who wants to lose fat. We might throw in some HIIT.
HIIT.
High-intensity interval training. It's alternating between those intense bursts of exercise and recovery periods.
Sounds intense. What about someone who's just starting out? Or maybe they have some limitations. Would we adjust the FITT variables differently?
For sure. If someone's new to exercise, we might start with something a little easier, like brisk walking or swimming. Then, as their fitness improves, we can gradually increase the frequency and duration. Maybe focus on strength training with just body weight or lighter weights. That's the beauty of the FIT principle. It's adaptable.
I can see that. So we've got these awesome exercise science principles guiding us. Adaptation, overload, specificity, individualization, progression, regression, and of course the FIT principle. It's like we have a whole toolbox to create really personalized, effective programs. But how do we actually, put these principles into practice?
That's where the art and science of program design come together. We take everything we know about our client, their goals, those principles, and we turn it into a structured plan. It's like their fitness roadmap.
Ooh, a roadmap. Okay, walk us through this process. How do we go from that client profile to a tangible exercise program?
Well, the first step is we need to define their goals. What do they want to achieve? Is it weight loss, muscle gain, better heart health? And those goals should be, clear and measurable.
So it's like setting that destination before planning the route.
Exactly. And just like a road trip, we want to create a plan that outlines all the steps.
I like it. What are some of the key things we consider when we're building that roadmap, that overall program structure?
Well, we want to think big picture first. Like how many times a week will they be working out? Will they be focusing on specific muscle groups on certain days? Or are we going to do full body workouts? And what about different types of training, like HIIT, strength training, flexibility? We need to figure out how all those pieces fit together.
So we're creating that weekly or monthly calendar of workouts. But, it's not just a generic calendar. It's got all their individual needs and goals woven in.
Right. And as we're doing that, we also got to think about their lifestyle, their schedule. Are they morning people, night owls? Do they have access to a gym, or will they be working out at home? All of that matters.
It's so true. I mean, the most amazing program in the world won't work if it just doesn't fit into their life.
Nope, it won't. And speaking of fitting things in, that brings us to session planning. We've got that overall program structure, but now we got to zoom in. We got to create those individual workout sessions.
Yeah, all right, let's break it down. What are the key components of a well-designed workout session?
Okay, so every session, every single one, should start with a good warm-up. We got to prep the body for the work ahead. Could be some light cardio, dynamic stretching, maybe even some foam rolling. The warm-up is super important, increases blood flow, raises the body temperature, improves mobility, all good things.
Got to get that engine warmed up right before you hit the gas.
Yes. Then comes the main event, the conditioning phase. This is where we're targeting their goals. Whether it's strength building, endurance, or, body composition changes. So we choose exercises that make sense for their goals. And of course, they should be challenging, but still doable.
This is where those exercise variations come in, right? Like using body weight, resistance bands, or even finding ways to incorporate the client's interests into the workout, like we talked about before.
Absolutely. We want to keep things fun and engaging. And as we're picking exercises, we're also thinking about technique and equipment. We might demonstrate the exercise, give different cues, verbal cues, visual cues, even tactile cues to make sure they really understand the form.
It's all about that individual approach, right? Meeting them where they're at, guiding them.
Exactly. And then to wrap things up, every workout should end with a cool down. helps the body recover. This could be some static stretching, some light cardio, maybe some mindfulness stuff.
Okay, so we've got the warm-up, the conditioning phase, and the cool-down. But how do we figure out the intensity and volume for each session?
Yeah.
It's not just randomly picking exercises and doing a million reps,
No,
right?
no, no. We got to consider those FITT variables we talked about.
Yeah.
How many reps, how many sets, how much weight, how long should those rest intervals be? We decide all that based on their fitness level, their goals, the exercises we've chosen. It's all connected.
It's like fine-tuning that workout
Yeah.
based on their individual needs and how they're responding.
Exactly. And that fine-tuning doesn't stop once the program is, in motion. We got to constantly evaluate and make adjustments. That's crucial for long-term success.
So we're not just handing in the program and saying, see you later.
Mhm.
We're like actively involved in their journey.
Right. Yes. We're checking in. We're monitoring their progress, making changes as needed. We might tweak those FITT variables, change up the exercises, or even reassess their goals altogether.
And how do we track that progress effectively? I mean, it's not just about the number on the scale, right? We're looking at more than that.
For sure. We use all sorts of methods. Those body composition measurements we talked about, those are helpful. Strength and endurance tests. And we can even track, like, their perceived exertion. How are their energy levels, their mood? It's all valuable information.
So it's a combination of the objective data and the subjective experience.
Yes. And client feedback, don't forget that. We want to know what they're enjoying, what's challenging. How can we better support them? It's a two-way street.
We're not just dictating, we're collaborating to create something that really works for them.
Exactly. And that communication is what builds that strong relationship. And a strong relationship leads to better results and a more positive experience for everyone.
Wow, we really covered a lot in this deep dive. I mean, from that initial client profile to the science behind it all to those super practical program design tips, it's amazing how much goes into creating personalized exercise programs. It really is both an art and a science.
It is. And, we've given you a great foundation here, but the learning never stops. There's always more to explore in the world of fitness, always evolving.
So true. Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with one final thought. As you start putting all of this into practice, what are you most excited about? What really resonated with you? Hold on to those questions as you keep diving deeper into this incredible world of fitness.
And remember, you're not just creating workout plans, you're empowering people. You're helping them transform their lives. That's what makes this so rewarding.
Beautifully said. Keep exploring, keep learning, keep making a difference. We'll see you on our next deep dive. Until then.